Okay, welcome back. Let's continue on. So in the last video we did op1 and did our verify, saved our stock as an STL. So now we're going to start op2. First thing I'm going to do is bring in my machine. We're going to need that generic host VFTR series 5x mil. Assign tool numbers sequentially and stock setup later. Do it now, I guess. And so as long as you don't move the model, then everything will just line up nicely from before. Now there's another way to do this using stock model. If we would have done that in the first operation, do stock model, click stock setup, choose our op1, just like that. All right. So then here we could have chosen that. Would have shown the mesh. So we do right click set as active stock, and then I could remove that one, and so that would be from my stock model. So difference is if you are not comfortable having multiple machine groups, definitely seen some places where every operation is a different master cam file. So in that case, you would definitely want to use the, the verify save as STL option. But you don't have to do that. You can have multiple machine groups, different types of machines. You can go from lathe to 5-axis back to vertical mill, whatever. Um, and if you do that, then you can use stock models in that way. Makes it a little easier. So you can use either one of those in here, doesn't matter. Just right click. You can set as active stock, remove, whatever. Doesn't matter which one you choose. All right. Let's go ahead and take that STL. Either you can delete it or just maybe put it on a different level. Looks like maybe I ended up with a couple of extra, so I'm just gonna hide that level that I put that STL on. And then I'm gonna click that delete, delete. So we got the STL there. Go to toolpaths, show my stock. So we're good either way. Next thing we got to do is we got to start building our assembly now. So we're running this on the VF2 with the TRT. We got to use center of rotation for our origin. So we got to start building our model. So file merge. We're going to bring in the fixture first. Open. Okay. Look, it doesn't quite line up. So yeah, in the dynamic, you can drag any axis, and it will only move the piece in that direction. You can also do your rotations on these. All right. Next, we'll go ahead and add the vise. Oops. V75-100. Just gonna check that for right now. So I want to do a couple things. It's a model with several parts. I want to put them all on the same level. Window around it. Put them all on level 3. I do a right click, clear empty levels all. So now we got everything on one level. So if we want to, rather than selecting each individual piece, not knowing if you got them all, you can use this option over here. Select all entities by level. Click level 3. And there you grab everything on that level. And then we can go transform. Before we do that, set my level 3 as active. And just to make it easier, I'm going to draw a line from the center of that to the center of that hole. Okay, it's going to give me a nice point to position this with. So again, level 3, and then transform dynamic. Now I can drop this gnomon at the midpoint of that line that I just chose. That midpoint. Drag that to the midpoint of fixture, Y direction, and then also X direction. And now I can drag up in Z. Theory. Alright, just use the corner of that, but so that aligns everything, center of the fixture. Um, Good old green check. Right click, clear colors. So now we're looking good with that one. Next, I'm going to bring in the base plate. So, let's see, file merge. Next, it's going to be the DRL52A for TRT 100. Hopefully that gets us centered. Down. Okay, looks like we got in the center of that hole there. So let's flip it over. Check that. Leave it separated for now. Looks like that did come in as one piece on level 4, so that's nice. I'm just going to highlight it one more time. Transform, dynamic again, and I'm just going to put the gnomon anywhere on this face, and then I'm going to use the Z drag to go to somewhere on the bottom there. Green check. Always green check. Alright, so base plate is set. Give it a little save real quick. When you merge new parts and stuff, you can't just do a quick save. It once thinks you might want to save it as a different name. So, all right. So now, last thing we need to bring in is the actual TRT. Merge TRT. Dynamic. Use the center bore on the platter. Drag that down out of the way. So, actually want, yeah, that's how I want it. Line it up with the center here. Well, actually, I don't have to do any of that. I can take, if I click on the center sphere right there, we go. The whole thing. Sucks too, huh? Sorry. Just click the edge there. The center of this is actually the center of the base plate, so that works. Check twice. And here we go. Bunch of levels. All right, so let's highlight level 5. Invisible all those other ones. Window this. Use active level. Active level is 5. All right, or you could just type in 5, hit the enter. And now all 17 items are on level 5, so I can right click, clear empty levels. All right, there's my machining assembly. Save it. And there. So we need to set up our planes. This is our top plane, right? So good. New plane. So we know that the center of rotation is 7.5 inches up from the bottom. So I'm going to call this my TRT top, and I'll just call it A0 C0. And then for my Z down here, I'm going to type in plus 7.5. Save. All right, so now we can start throwing some tool paths at this. So it'll be up 2. Through that. like missing geometry. Selection. All right, sync stock. First thing we want to do is face it. Let's see if it'll let us pick the STL for our geometry. Probably not, because it's not real geometry. Sorry. All right, so what we'll do instead is I'll just pick this right here. Remember, it doesn't really matter that this surface is down there. You can set the Z independently of the geometry. So for my depth, I'll try to select the highest point. And I'm going to add 5 thousandths. Feed plane, I'll say 4.65. Retract of 5 inches. It's a little low, so I'm going to raise that up. Now, one thing you can do, you can hit this apply, and it will give you the update, so you don't have to exit out of the thing, just in case you needed to change it again. But that looks good now, so green check it. There's that facing. So kind of want to rough this material out now, right? Kind of get us closer to the final geometry. So just want to need some geometry. some of the ways to create the geometry. So when I do this, what I want to do is do a silhouette boundary because I want to kind of get the outside perimeter of the entire part. Um, However, if I do that, it's going to drop it down here because I'm at Z0. So what I can do is I want that geometry to be up here where I can see it. So if I go to my Home tab and I can switch from 3D to 2D, and then I can move my Z, do a right click, and choose Z coordinate of a point, and I can pick this point up here, and now you can see I'm at 4.54568. And so now if I go back to wireframe, do a silhouette boundary, click the model, I get that geometry up here. So I'm going to get rid of a couple things just because they are kind of annoying to me. That, that, that. Fixture can stay. I was on that level when I created the wireframe, so just make a new level for that. All right. I'm just going to do a simple contour. Maybe that red wasn't the best idea, huh? Do this. The blue. See a little contrast with the stock definition. So we'll go keep our same end mill and just do a contour. See what 4 at 50 thousandths looks like. Cut parameters. I do want to leave some stock on there. Say at 15. Multiple passes. All right, so for the depth, let's go. So we want to get below this level of the stock here. So just choose right there, should be good. Stock's fine. Feet plane. Let's say just incremental is fine, and then the retract is going to be 5 inches. See what that looks like. All right. let's check this real quick. Let's update this tool information. So yeah, so we're using 1.5 inch length to cut. So we want to make sure that we add that to the description so we know what to use. For our holder, I'm going to go ahead and choose ER32 holder, C4C30032. So these are all different ER collets, 16, 20, 25, and then the C4, C4, the first C4 usually means cat 40, and then the second C is the kind of like the gauge length designation. So just use that one there. Let's see, 1.7 stick out. Okay, yes, I want to update assembly. So now, oops, sometimes you got to regenerate. That. That. Okay. So now I'm gonna I want to rough out sort of in between the two towers. Um, again, we kind of want to work from the outside in, so I'm gonna kind of rough it down a bit, and then start working on the top parts of these posts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this, do another dynamic path. I'm gonna use this geometry as my outside. I'm gonna start from outside, and then I just need something so we can avoid the posts. There's nothing in the solid that really gives me what we're going to need. If I choose one of these, it's going to let it cut in areas we don't want it to. So just draw a couple of circles. Still there. Somewhere around there. So just a couple of circles that encompass the entire first section of the post there, down to here. So the circle goes around on both of those. So this is going to be our machining region. We're going to choose a from outside strategy, and the avoidance will be this and this. Check. I'm going to switch to the 1/4 inch end mill. Half-inch length to cut. Alright, it's all good. Linking parameters. From our depth, let's see if we choose somewhere here, we want to raise that up. I'll say 4.1. Arc filter tolerance, coolant. So again, a little apply. Gives you a preview. See if you like it. Looks good. Alright, so far so good. Give it a save. Next thing you do is go rough it out a little bit deeper with that 1/4 inch. Kind of, as much as we can get with it. I'm going to do a ramping toolpath. So I'm going to one more curve one edge. And then I'm going to choose modify length. I'm going to lengthen it 150. So see, when I clicked on it, I was on this half of the line, so it extended that side. Now if I click on the bottom half of the line, it will extend this side. That's what I want. I want both sides extended. So, all right. Green check that, and then path, contour. Choose that. Stay with my 1/4 inch. So for cut parameters, I'm going to turn the compensation type off because I want the center of the tool to follow that line. My contour type is going to be ramp. And I do want to make a pass at the final depth, so I get a flat bottom. I'll probably change it to 50 thousandths ramp depth. 0 on the walls, 0 on the floors, all this should be 0. Let's see. Lead in, lead out, we don't need that. Multi-passes, we don't need that. Linking, so top of our stock, we got to set that to the same depth of our last toolpath, right, where we roughed out. So that was 4.1. And then our depth is going to be, I'll have to kind of see, play around with it a little bit. So if I do that, it's on. See how that looks. Do a back plot. Not bad. Got a little close, but not too close. If we're worried about it, we could raise that up a little bit, but looks good. And let's see, next thing, I'm going to switch, go back to the Home tab. I'm going to switch it back to 3D mode. Put my Z back to 0. Right, and then I've noticed that sometimes, because there are certain things that being in 2D mode will screw you up, making new planes and geometry and stuff like that. So try to leave it in 3D mode when you save it. I know we already saved it in 2D mode, so but if you switch it to 3D mode and then save it right away, it doesn't always, like, sometimes the next time you open it, it'll be back in 2D mode. So what I'll usually do is when I switch it back to 3D mode, try to do something that requires 3D. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a couple of planes so we can start working these posts at the angle. So I'm going to go to planes, form solid face, like that. You want the X pointing down. So green check that. I'll call that left post. Do another one. Right post. So you need the X pointing like down or up so that we can rotate the part, because you know, TRT doesn't rotate on B, rotates on A, spins on C. So go ahead and save that. And actually, this is center of rotation, so we're going to need to move those planes down to our A0, C0. Easiest way is to activate that plane, point there, activate the other plane, click the mouse pointer, click the point you just created. Same thing with the other one. Save it, verify real quick, just take a look. Let's do one more thing. Let's go in and set holder for a 1/4 inch. See what that stick out looks like. Comes to that. So we'll leave it at that for now and see. Should be good, but we can change it later if we need to. All right, so yeah, I think we'll pause right now, and this will section off this video, um, and we'll continue on in the next video. All right.